that leads me to what's coming up in California on the 26th. Doyle Shamley, many of you have heard us talk about Apache County, Arizona, and what they're doing. They have 11,000 acres that have been worked. All fuel and fire has been cleared and it's been thinned, and yes, they have cut green wood. To hear our commissioners, Josephine's commissioners, and Jackson's commissioners talk, you would think that absolutely nothing was done except for 80 acres. Not true. Okay? And this is the other thing too. We've got to start holding our elected officials' feet to the fire. When they lie to us, we need to call them on it. Political correctness needs to go out the window. This is all about truth and fact at this point. And until we start calling them on it and holding their feet to the fire, either with a recall or a personal suit or pressure from the public, is really where it needs to start. At every meeting, those chambers need to be filled to the brim with pissed off constituents, okay, that are organized, that know how to make phone calls, that will shut down a fax machine and crash servers, okay? We've done it. We did it several years ago when we did the presentation for the Notice of Federal Tax Liens. We literally crashed the servers at the county's office. And they sold enough DVDs to pay for their new equipment off of that presentation alone. So it can be done if we organize. So back to the 26th. October 26th, Sacramento, Doyle Shamley is Apache County's Natural Resource Coordinator. He will be there to talk about very specific things. Number one, most important, is how to write a substantive answer. Number two is how to deal with the eco-Nazis or eco-terrorists, however you want to put it. And he is very, very versed at this. One thing that you have to understand is that in that county, right down the street in Tulsa, is the headquarters for 5 of the top 10 environmental organizations. Okay? They had to deal with this from the start. As a matter of fact, when they first implemented the program, they filed what's called a BioBlitz. The environmental groups, they all got together. They filed what's called a BioBlitz. 700 endangered species went into the Federal Register. Now, if Doyle didn't know what he was doing, what would have happened is that it would have basically shut down the entire state. And half of those species were made up. So again, unless you're familiar with your surroundings, you understand how they work, and you know how to get back at them. He got back at them so well that the director of the Sierra Group was thrown out of the Natural Resource Committee hearings because he called her on 32 lies. Okay? This is what we have to be. If we are not armed with the truth, factual information, and we don't have the guts to state it where it needs to be stated, forget it. You might as well put the shackles on, because you will become a slave. It has gotten to that point. So we've got to be ready. We've got to be prepared. That means working together, all of us, all of the patriot groups, all of the patriot organizations. We've got to be working together. We're spreading ourselves too thin, and that's by design.
If you go to defendruleamerica.com, defendruleamerica.com, on the left-hand side, go to their events page, and you will find a list of the events this coming Saturday. Pre-register for it. You can get in at the door, but they like to pre-register for it. As of right now, they've got 1,000 people coming to Josephine County. You will also find the October event with Doyle Shamley. Pre-register there. Ray and I are going. And that's
that web address again?
Just go to the Liberators 11. Go to our website. Go to our links page, and it's there.
Okay.
Everything that we talk about, every place that we direct you is at our links page on our website. We're trying to make it as easy for you guys as possible to have one place to go, to get to anywhere you need to go, to get the information you need to get.
Thank you, I forgot, those are all the newest stuff that we've added to the website.
I've spent hours working on this, and we really need to start utilizing it. We've got to understand it. Knowledge is power. And that's the most important thing that we have to work with. But if we're disorganized, what do you got? Nothing. The commissioners meeting on September 11th that Loma and I went to, we talked about Utah's House Bill 148, which is the statehood bill. And Utah, for the last, going on 7 months, I believe now, maybe a little bit longer, they've been challenging every state and every county attorney and attorney general to refute their bill and their law and their white paper. And a white paper is a legal document that substantiates a particular bill, okay, and bases everything in law. Not one person, not one attorney, not one attorney general, not one county has come forward yet to date with any rebuttal, because they can't. American Lands Council is doing some phenomenal work. And Ken Ivory is a state representative in Utah and also the one that spearheaded this organization. He will go anywhere to talk to anybody about this, no matter how small or how large the crowd is. We would like to bring him and possibly Doyle here for a presentation and bring in Jackson, Josephine, and Douglas counties and have 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 people show up. But we've got to start working together. We've got to start getting organized. Loma and I have been spending some time in Josephine County working with their Republican group and a couple of other groups. We're also working with Greg Walden's office. What's his name? I went blank. Colby Marshall there, and we're hoping to start working with a lot of the eastern counties because they're having and facing the same problems we are. There are 3 counties where there are county commissioners that are actually asking for additional information. So we'll be working on that. I'm also going to take this a step further because frankly, I personally have had it. We have not had a board meeting on this. We did it kind of informally at the last meeting. We discussed, okay, what are we going to do if the commissioners won't move forward? And we're kind of all in agreement that either we sue them in their personal capacity or we recall them. We're so close to an election cycle with our commissioners that I don't know that it's really worth a recall. And I question a recall because what I want to do is set an example for anyone who decides to run in the future. And I think that suing them in their personal capacity will make those who are considering running for office in the future think twice about what they're doing. And therefore, those who do run are going to be the ones that, number one, have nothing to hide, and number two, are doing it for service to the people based on their oath, based on the authority and jurisdiction of the office. Not on their personal beliefs, not on what society and the populace has to say. We are not a democracy. We are a country of laws, and those laws need to be followed. In principle, our founding principles, our founding laws are some of the best that have ever been designed. Are they perfect? No. But they're damn good. And we've got to get back to that. A lot of the argument as we've been going through with this, and we've been doing this almost a year and a half, well no, it'll be 2 years in October.
Yes.
2 years in October.
Actually, it's almost 3 years.
Well, since our convention with Doyle.
Well, the first Defend Rural America, though.
Yeah, that would be 3. One of the things that we found is that people are so stuck in administrative process and regulatory law. How many in here understand the difference between that and common law and rule of law? Raise your hand. Who understands those four principles? Oh, good. Okay. The reason that most of these suits have been lost, which is what we have people come back at us with, okay? Well, everybody's lost in court. Well, yeah, they have when they've gone in under statutory and administrative law. And they would. It's common sense, okay? However, every case that's ever been brought under common law and rule of law, where the person has brought it into court under their proper standing. Does everybody know what standing is?
No, everybody doesn't know, so tell them.
It's who you are. It's what you are. More precisely, especially in today's world. Okay? You have citizens and you have citizens. You have the people and you have citizens. So very simply, here it is. We the people, it's our government. We're the boss, they're the child. We fall under common law and rule of law.
Or constitutional law.
Or constitutional law. If we go in under any other principle, we have voluntarily given up our rights. And we then fall into their game, their rules. So as soon as you've acquiesced into that, whether it be a driver's license, a social security card, because it ain't yours, it belongs to the Social Security Administration, okay? Our voters' registration cards, a marriage license, etc., etc., etc. The list goes on. And all of these things have been placed upon us under false contract.
Include driver's license in that too.
I did. Now, we could go on and on and on for days regarding all that stuff, but what you have to understand is that in dealing with our county officials, okay, and in dealing with the lands issues, and the reason that we're focusing on this is because it is directly attached to the county's ability to lawfully make money and to our ability for life, liberty, and happiness, i.e. the economy. Okay? So we have to remember that as the people, and it is our land, and it belongs to the states and the state citizens, which is us. We are not federal citizens. We are not 14th Amendment citizens. We are citizens of the state, proper and sovereign. Period. Federal government has no rule over us whatsoever. Nor do they have any rule over the states whatsoever, unless we allow it. And there is Supreme Court case after Supreme Court case that states this. Again, if you look at the losses, every single one of them have been relinquished at the beginning, at the date of filing, because they have filed under administrative and regulatory procedure. Or law, what they call law, and it's not. The only ones that fall into those categories of law are artificial entities, not people. Not us. So when we move forward with this, we have to do it in the proper manner, understanding who we are and what our legal standing is. The counties can do this. They don't understand it because it's not what they've been taught. It's not what any of us in this room have been taught. And I'm sure a lot of you are going, oh my God, you've got to be kidding me, if you've never heard this before. And if you've heard bits and pieces, I hope that I've put a couple of the puzzle pieces together for you. If I haven't been clear, please ask questions.
Oh, you're talking about losing cases. You're talking about individuals in land jurisdiction cases, or you're talking about when the county asserts itself or state asserts itself against the feds, or the feds file in the court.
All the above.
All the above.
Okay, you're talking about any of these cases. Because in Jackson County, the attorney stated, you saw the video,
Yes.
stated that, you know, that, well, we shouldn't do that Apache County thing because, you know, it wouldn't work here. And fully admitted at the end that he only talked to the feds.
Right.
He never, we're supposed to believe that nobody from Apache or Ontario County ever called him back.
Mm-hmm.
None of them.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Now, Otero County did it wrong.
But they fixed it.